Two things. Number one, President Trump talks about things that just aren't accurate about everything from vaccines, we're going to have one right away, it's going to happen, and so on. The point is that if the body of scientists say that this is what is ready to be done, and it's been tested, it's gone through the 3 phases, yes, I would take it. I'd encourage people to take it. My name is Joe Biden. I love ice cream. I'm an ice cream guy. Is the ice cream down that way?
How's the ice cream, kids?
Great!
Who's ready for a kitten?
I am! Make mine calico!
Here you go.
This whole morning has been wonderful. Too wonderful.
You're right. This is it. They're selling us to be crash test dummies.
Oh, please let it be Volvo.
Oh, you children are too suspicious. It's go time.
It's shot day!
Welcome to hell, Mann Avenue Medical Plaza. Children, you should be grateful you live in a country where childhood diseases have been practically...
Karate!
Ow! Ah! Ow!
Bart, that hobo skeleton is not a toy.
This is ridiculous. Only babies and ex-junkies are afraid of needles. Stick me, chuckles. Can I have a lollipop?
Well, that just leaves Bart.
Don't forget Maggie.
Oh, I got her when your heads were turned. Got her good.
Get addressed. Carol!
759 Sector C.
Carol! We gotta go! We gotta get out of here! We gotta go right now!
Listen to me, Steve.
No, you don't understand! We've gotta go!
Go where?
No, we gotta go! What the hell are you talking about?
Steve, this is important. Go where? That's right. Go where? What happened in your room? Are you listening? What happened in your room is not an isolated incident. It is something that is happening everywhere to everyone. So, where are you gonna go? Where are you gonna run? Where are you gonna hide? Nowhere. Because there's no one like you left.
Harrison, to your left side, young man. Right at your left side.
Since this country was founded, each generation of Americans has been summoned to give testimony to its national loyalty.
As someone who works in the medical field, I feel like there's more that I can do to help those who can't help themselves.
My name is Danny Chirboga, and I'm a nurse anesthetist, and I served in the United States Marine Corps.
I'm a flight attendant with American Airlines.
I work at a grocery store, and I want people to safely get their food.
I would like to see again visible smiles.
I'm a grandmother of 4, and I miss my grandson. What can I say?
Almost 500,000 Americans have volunteered so far and stepped up to help fight COVID-19 by being a part of the vaccine clinical trials.
I'm not a doctor, but I am a citizen of this great country.
And I want to do my part as an American.
Because it's going to work.
We need to register 1 million more volunteers to complete the studies and possibly get a safe and effective vaccine to hundreds of millions of Americans.
If we want to go back to work, if we want our kids to be in school, if we want our economy to thrive, every day sooner these trials are done means a day sooner we have a vaccine.
In your hands will rest the final success or failure of our course. Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country.
The vaccine trial needs Americans of every race, location, and medical condition to help in one of the most important endeavors of our lifetime. Go to preventcovid.org to be a part and help our great nation.
Now, Bart, just look out the window. It'll take your mind off the pain. And when you're done, I've got more lollies.
No, thanks. I already helped myself. See you later, inoculator.
You can run, but nobody escapes the needle. Darlene, cancel all my appointments.
But I need that kidney now.
International travellers will need to be vaccinated against COVID-19 to fly with Qantas. It's the first airline to propose such a rule. The Australian carrier says the measure could become standard practice for all airlines.
I'm talking to my colleagues in other airlines around the globe, and I think it's going to be a common theme across the board. And what we're looking at is how you can have a vaccination, a passport, an electronic version of it that certifies what the vaccine is it acceptable to the country you're travelling to. So there's a lot of logistics, a lot of technology that'll be needed to put in place to make this happen. But the airlines and the governments are working on this as we speak.
Qantas plans to implement the measure once a vaccine is available to the public. The country's borders have been closed to international visitors since the pandemic began.
Well, let's just delve into that a little bit more. Surely, will there have to be a coordinated scheme, some sort of standardised paperwork to prove that you've been vaccinated? And then who picks up the cost of this? Is it the airlines, or is it ultimately going to be passengers?
Well, Oliver, coordination's the key, isn't it? In such an important sector with so many different moving parts, airports, suppliers, fuel, airlines, all sorts of brands that need to come together to get us flying and get our tickets processed properly. And that coordination is going to be an incredibly difficult challenge, despite this hope that's emerged from the vaccine news. Qantas, as you said, have announced today their plans to demand that passengers on international flights prove that they've been vaccinated before boarding any Qantas aeroplane. The CEO actively looking at terms and conditions on all of our tickets to make it absolutely necessary that we have that proof before we get on board. Other CEOs, as you say, including the Etihad CEO, talking about this idea of a health visa, a physical certificate of some kind that all of us need to carry around to prove that we're safe to get on board flights. So the world that we're moving into is a very different one. It's going to be a hugely difficult job for all of those moving parts to work together and create a seamless experience for passengers. Most sector analysts now are expecting other airlines to follow suit, to follow Qantas, to follow Etihad and others in calling for this new way of proving your validity as a safe passenger. And we can see now these clear signs of both hope and excitement about the future of the industry, a chance to get back to normality again.
I say this vaccine is really the key. This is the golden key. It depends on the state of the nature of the vaccine, when it comes out, and how it's being distributed. That would depend on. But I would think that we should be talking about, depending on the continuation of the spread of the virus, we should be thinking about making it mandatory.
How could you enforce that?
Well, you couldn't. That's the problem. Just like you can't enforce measles. You can't come to school unless you have a measles shot. You can't. But you can't say everyone has to do this. But you would, just like you can't mandate a mask. But you can say, you can go to every governor and get them all in a room, all 50 of them as president, and say, ask people to wear the mask. Everybody knows.
Vaccines are safe, and that vaccines save lives. I urge an aye vote on concurrence with Assembly amendments. Thank you.
Huff. No. Jackson. Aye. Latta. Aye. Leno. Aye. Canella. No. De Leon.
It's really about protecting all of our children who are attending school, who are out in their community.
Thank you, Senator.
The science is very clear. Vaccines work. And we are a community. We need to look out for each other. We need to look out for the weakest, protect those who can't be vaccinated.
We are prescribing a very strong government hand in trying to enforce this by mandating that all children in public schools be vaccinated. I think it's an overreach of government, and I still urge your no vote.
I think this is just a direct attack on our liberty.
I think it really comes down to an individual's right to decide what medical interventions are right for themselves and for their children, not having the government decide.
All revenue received pursuant to the levy and collection of tax.
One way or another, I'm gonna find you. I'm gonna get you one way or another. I'm gonna get you one way or another. I'll meet ya.
Black on black violence must end. That was for Dr. King.
Don't feel bad, Doc. I won't even let my mom clip my toenails.
A woman shot by police a year and a half ago took the stand in her own defense today, but not to fight the criminal charge. KITV4's Daryl Huff has our exclusive report. Daryl.
Yvonne Arsisto has been in the state mental hospital for most of the time since she was shot during a confrontation last year. Today, she took the stand to prevent the state from forcing her to take antipsychotic medication.
Are you afraid for your safety?
Yes, I am.
Yvonne Arsisto was shot by taser and bullet in April of last year by police who surrounded her while she held a barbecue skewer, apparently defending her right to sleep near a King Street building. She was charged with terroristic threatening. Since then, she's been found unfit for trial, leaving her in limbo in the state hospital, where she refuses to take antipsychotic medicines, as officials said her condition has become dangerous.
She made a threatening comment to a male patient, saying he needs to stop, I will kill him.
And my concern is if she becomes sufficiently agitated, she might act upon her statement.
Arsisto took the stand to say that being afraid of the other patient was logical.
Why don't you trust him?
I don't know, I just don't trust him. I don't know the background of the patients there.
Sources confirmed that the other patient killed 2 people before being committed. Arsisto didn't know that.
Do you wish him harm?
Oh, well, when you're angry, yeah, because he keeps on stalking me.
Are you going to do anything to hurt him?
No, I won't do that. I just told us I'd just keep him away from me.
Her attorney argued that forced medication isn't the answer.
They should try and separate her first before they try and poke her with a needle.
The judge agreed with the attorney. In fact, he asked the state attorney why, if Arsisto was such a threat, that they didn't simply move her to another wing. He said the state had not come up with enough evidence to prove she was dangerous, so if she doesn't want to take her meds, that's up to her, Laura.
Okay, Daryl, so what does this mean for the case against her?
It means she remains in limbo. Without meds, she may never be considered fit for trial, the trial that could exonerate her, which means she could be stuck in the hospital for a long time.
All right, thanks, Daryl.
I guess you're just too smart for me, Bart.
What?
Thanks, Barney. Mo, we won't need you now.
Okay, well, I really enjoyed being you, Dr. Hibbert. Oh, by the way, you're not welcome in the library no more. I'm sorry.
Now that wasn't so bad, was it, Bart? You know, sometimes the fear of... Whoa, something's wrong. I can't hear!
Doctor, perform a diagnosis. I'm afraid the inoculation has swollen his ear hole shut. Maybe this would be a good time to talk about side effects. The boy's hearing should clear up in a day. If it doesn't, call me in the Bahamas. For now, he can express himself with this complimentary pen. Cool. Oh, it's a good pen. Try it out. That was a malpractice waiver, fool.
Common Pass is a platform that lets people safely and securely collect their health information, whether it is a negative COVID test result or eventually a record of a COVID vaccination. manage that information, control it themselves, and then be able to let that information be used to demonstrate that they have had a negative test or they have been vaccinated so they can get on an airplane or travel to another country. For countries, it gives them the ability to actually know confidently that this person who wants to come visit them can actually safely be admitted into their country without risk of exposing other people in the country to COVID. If you put yourself in a traveler's shoes, people want to travel, but they don't want to, and frankly shouldn't have to hand out their sensitive health information to every airline they want to fly, every country they want to visit, every airport they want to travel through. And so I think the balance that needs to be achieved is to say, hey, how can we give, let's say, a country or an airline the comfort they need to know that this person is safe to travel or safe to enter a country without having to reveal sensitive health information. So it's the East African community, which is Rwanda, Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda, Burundi, and South Sudan constitute the East Africa community. What led to this was their desire to restart trucking. And 4 of those 6 countries are landlocked, so they're entirely dependent on deliveries from their seaports, the 2 countries that actually do have access to the ocean. And so a few months ago, they focused in on this challenge of how can we actually allow trucks to start crossing our borders to keep the supply lines open. And so Common Pass, in many respects, grew out of our collaboration with this East African community, initially focused on a solution to allow truckers to cross those borders.
So that brings us to this story, and with it, we come full circle, don't we, guys? You guys remember this one? Hey, we're on Daily Hoax Online, and you see the headline, Qantas denies it's part of flying conspiracy after disturbing 33 Amigo Brotherhood and New World Order symbols are spotted on the engines of a national carrier plane. So back in August, this whole conspiracy controversy here because they brazenly displayed the symbols, the all-seeing eye pyramid, and the 33 Amigo Brotherhood square and compass. So it all becomes quite clear. It all clicks now, doesn't it? So months later, they just so happen to be the spearheaders of the "you gotta get the jab before you jump on our plane" agenda, setting the stage for what's to come on a worldwide scale. They're the first ones up. Why? Because they're on the payroll for the agenda. They are just another pawn. And amazingly, they have an absolutely very cute, quite adorable, really, cover story for why they had these symbols on the engine covers and chalked it up to, one of their engineers was a fan of the Da Vinci Code. Yeah, that's the cover story. And as you see here, but actually, guys, hold on. We have some hope. The airline, as it says here, the airline has dismissed the notion it is part of some kind of global conspiracy. Well, there you have it, folks. You know what? Pack your bags. Forget it. Close this video off. They said they're not a part of it. It's all, guys. Trust them. Trust the plan, guys. And trust their plan.